Hello, this is Mr. Jarrett, and in this video tutorial, we are going to be working on modeling this object. So the hardest part with this thing, I think, is understanding that the origin is actually floating right here. So when you look at it from the top view, you can see it kind of looks like it's on an edge of something. But remember, you're seeing depth looking straight down. So the origin is not sitting down here on this, it's floating. Okay, but it looks like it's sitting down on something. From the side view, or the front view in this case, you're looking at it like this from its side. The origin looks like it's right on the corner. Well, it's lined up with the corner, but again, it's floating. You don't see that it's floating until you look at it from the right side view. It's right in the middle of the circle, and you can see that it's not attached to anything. So the next hardest part of this is understanding how big to make everything. So you might be saying, well, what are you talking about? Well, look, there's no width here, no total width. And that's because from the far left all the way over to the far right, you actually have to use this measurement, which goes to its center, and then the radius out to the edge. So the total measurement from here all the way over to here is 40 plus the radius, which is 20. So 40 plus 20 is actually 60. Same thing with the height. So from the bottom all the way up to the top is not specified. But what is specified is the bottom to the origin, which is 20. And then since the origin is the middle of the circle, from there up is also 20. So the total height is 40. Now you could do this multiple different ways. You could draw rectangles and then draw the negative space up here and that arc and extrude cut. You could also do this in an additive fashion where you're actually drawing these arcs and adding onto it. But the confusing part there is if you try to draw from the right side view and you have this image or this sketch, when you go to extrude back, you actually added material right here that's not here. So then you would have to go ahead and draw a sketch to delete it. So you see there's a whole bunch of different little obstacles that you have to get around, and that's part of problem solving. But I'm going to show you a little bit of a cheating way of doing this. And that's going to be by using the fillet tool to create this arc. So I'm going to fillet two square corners, and it's going to create this big arc. We'll have the exact same mass and center of mass, everything. I'm actually going to be drawing this from the front view. Okay, so let's pull this to the other screen. And in SolidWorks, let's create a new part and change your units to mmgs. Let's get the sketch tool and let's sketch on the front plane. Then you can just use your line tool just to kind of move around and draw the outside of what you see here, of the entire sketch. Try to make all of your lines nice and straight. That way you don't have to go back in and change any of your horizontal or vertical relations. But if you do mess up, go right ahead and just change them. So all of these lines should be either vertical or horizontal. So that's what we see on the front view. Now we just need to go ahead and dimension this. So get your dimension tool and let's start over here. This one is 10. And then from the bottom up to the origin is 20. The overall width, so from here to here, the whole way across the bottom, is that 40 plus 20, like I said, so that's 60. So again, where I'm getting that from, if I'm looking at my width, that's going left and right here, I went from the far left side to the middle and then actually added this radius of 20. So I did from here all the way to the outside, so this whole entire bottom piece, 60. That's 20 plus 40. Okay, so I'm also going to be using these measurements here. So the next measurement we have is from here to the origin, and that is 20. And then this back piece, which mine just got messed up, so let's hit escape. If this happens to you, click on a blue dot and rearrange your stuff. You should know how to do that by now. And then this piece is actually 10. Okay, so the only line that's still blue is this one because we need the overall height. So let's pull this back over so you can see the overall height. That's from the very bottom all the way up to the top is that 20 to the origin plus a radius of 20, so that would be 40. Okay. So this line over here is 40. Okay. Now I can hit Features tab and Extrude, and we want the origin to be right in the middle. So we're going to change this to midplane. So it's going both ways. And now we need to figure out how big this is. So how far back is it from the origin and forward? Well, again, if this is a big curve and this has a radius of 20, that means it's 20 from here over and 20 from here over. So 20 plus 20 is 40. So let's extrude this thing 40. Hit the green check. So now I got a big rectangular piece. So like I said, let's cheat and fillet these corners. So get the fillet tool. And our fillet is going to be 20, like we've been using or talking about. We'll click on that corner, and this corner, and this corner. And hit the green check. So we kind of cheated a little bit. The only difference from our picture to what you see in the activity is that it doesn't have this line up at the top. But I used a different rendering option anyway, so it really doesn't matter. That line is not going to hurt anything. So the nice thing with having these fillets is there's also a center point that we can put our circles and stuff on. So let's actually rotate around to this back piece, and let's sketch on this back piece. So get your sketch tool and click on that flat face. You can hit Control-8 to rotate to a nice view, and your origin's right here in the middle, and that's where we're going to put our circle. So get your circle tool and draw a big circle, and we're going to dimension this thing, and this has a diameter of 20. You can see that on your right side view picture. So Features tab and Extrude Cut, and you're going to send this through all. So change it from blind to through all, and hit the green check. And it cut right through that whole thing. So now we can get the sketch tool again, and we can select this top surface and Control-8 and draw another circle. And this time you don't really have a place to put this, so here's another trick. Move your mouse over a curved surface and you notice a center point pops up. So all you had to do is move it over there and be patient. Center point pops up. You click right on that center, draw that circle out, and that is also a diameter of 20. And you can see that measurement on your top view. So basically, this circle is concentric with this big curved outside. Features tab, Extrude Cut, and change this from blind to through all. Green check, and you have your shape. The nice thing is the origin is located right there where we want it to be, floating in space. So let's change our materials to cast alloy steel, which is a default, and see how we did. Evaluate mass properties. You should get 209.60 grams. So if you got that, you can save this and move on to the next one. If you did not get that, then you're going to want to try to problem solve, figure out where you went wrong, fix it up until it's correct, and then save it and move on to the next one.